A very warm welcome to today's expert webinar on software development life cycle using large language models. I am Ankita from SpringPeople, India's largest enterprise training provider, and I'm excited to be your moderator today. AI is changing the way we develop software, and in this session, we'll explore how large language models like GPT are transforming the software development lifecycle from requirement analysis and design to coding, testing, and maintenance. LLMs are streamlining processes, reducing errors, and improving collaboration. Our expert will walk you through real-world use cases, tools, and techniques to integrate LLMs into your workflow, helping you code faster, debug smarter, and optimize development like never before. Whether you're leading a team or writing code yourself, this session will give you valuable insights into the future of AI-driven development. To guide us through today's session, we are honored to have Ms. Amudha Adirai, who is a seasoned corporate trainer with over 9 years of experience, delivering expertise in various uh, technical domains, including Python, C, C++, Java, artificial intelligence, machine learning, data science, Power BI, and more. Having worked with esteemed clients such as GE Healthcare, TCS, Volkswagen IT Service, and Comcast, Amuda brings a wealth of knowledge in data analytics, software development, and corporate training. Her hands-on experience in corporate training programs and her ability to simplify complex concepts make her sessions insightful and impactful for professionals looking to elevate their skills. We promise this will be an insightful discussion packed with valuable takeaways. If you have any questions during the session, please drop them in the chat box and we will address them at the end. Now, without further delay, let's begin. Over to you, Ms. Amudha.
Hi, welcome to the session. Myself, Amuda Adire. I'm a technology evangelist. So today we're going to discuss about the software development life cycle with LLMs. So the software development life cycle, which means that it is a structured process which is used for developing the software applications. So it consists of the series of steps that involves design, develop, test, deploying the high quality software which is very efficiently we can able to deploy it. So this SDLC ensures that the software is built systematically and also meets the customer requirements. So with the LLMs, so LLMs, which means that which is large language model, and this LLM is a type of artificial intelligence model, so which is designed to understand and also generate the human like text here. So these LLM models are built using the deep learning techniques, which is advanced over the machine learning concept. And specifically, I can say it is transformer based architectures and are trained on the vast amount of text data. So there are lots of things are doing with the LLMs. So we are discussing it further. Okay. Okay, so this is the introduction about SDLC over with LLM. So which means that so using this LLM, which is large scale model in the software development lifecycle, so this can improve the efficiency as mentioned. So it does by automating the task, so improving the efficiency and reducing the errors, even automative repetitive task we can do, and enhance the decision making at various stages of the SDLC phases. So the various stages including the planning, the requirement analysis, design, there is development, also testing, even deployment also, and also the maintaining phases also included. So this is how this LLMS is applied over this SDLC. So these are the different phases of SDLC. So requirement analysis, design, implementation, testing, deployment, and the maintenance phase. So first we can explain about the requirement analysis, which is nothing but under the concept of or it is a combination of the planning and the requirement analysis. So say for example the planning, so which means that it is going to define a project goals, so the scope of the project, resources, and the timeline we are going to discuss, and to identify the risks in the project and finding the feasibility solution for the project. So in the requirement analysis we can gather the function and the non-functional requirements also. So also you can able to prepare a software resource specification, which is SRS. They will usually mention the document name called SRS document. So now coming to the point of design. So this design phase, so here you can create an architectural design and also the UI UX designs. So in this design, it defines the system components. There can be a database structures and also the data flow diagrams. So next, it is the part of implementation. The phase implementation phase means it is all about the coding phase. So all the design documents are converting into the actual code. This is what the implementation will do usually. And it follows the coding standards. There are a set of standards for the coding and the best practices followed by the design phase. So next phase is nothing but the testing phase. So it is going to build or perform the unit testing or integration testing, sometimes system testing, and also the UAT, which is user acceptance testing. So also not only for testing, this testing purpose is for identifying and the fixing bugs. So next we are going to the deployment phase. So here in this deployments altogether we had done with requirement analysis, design, implementation, testing. So the deployment is nothing but releasing the software to the productions or releasing the software to the users. Okay, so provide necessary configurations and the setup based on the deployment. Now next phase is the maintenance phase. So in this maintenance phase we are going to fix the bugs, we are going to provide the updates over there and enhance the features based on the users feedback. So this phase is very important in ensuring the security and performance optimization over here. So there are different kinds of models supported for this phases of SDLC. So there are different SDLC models, so which called waterfall model, agile model, V model, there is a spiral model, DevOps model. So waterfall model is nothing but a sequential or the step by step or the phase by phase approach, we can say. Agile models, we can say it is very iterative and very flexible, focuses on the continuous improvement. And the V model is for the validation and the verification driven deployment. And the spiral model is for the risk driven, suitable for the complex projects. And there is a DevOps model too, which is for the faster delivery. These are the phases of the SDLC. So let's discuss about how this artificial intelligence enhances this SDLC. So which is going to automate the requirement generations, which is done by the planning and the requirement analysis phase. And in the design phase, it is going to do the suggestions based on the system architecture. In the implementation phase, it is going to generate the code snippets. Automatically, it is going to generate the code, and in the testing phase, it is going to automate the test cases generations, and in the deployment phase and the maintenance phase, it is going to optimize. It is going to optimize the deployment stages. So next, we are going to discuss about the role of LLMs in SDLC. So this LLM is going to assist in requirement gathering, code generations, design, testing, automation, and also the predictive used to predictive the maintenance. Also enhance the productivity and reducing these errors. So the key features of the LLM is, it is mostly the key features of this LLM are used in the NLP, which is natural language processing, which understands and interprets and generates the human languages. And there is a context awareness, so there is a multitasking capabilities and also pre-trained and the fine-tuned functions. Say for example, I can take LLMs as an example, Open AI GPT. So here we are going to discuss a project based on Open API GPT. Say for example, in Open API GPT, OpenAI GPT, there is a GPT-4 and the GPT 3.5 are the examples of OpenAI. So there is also Google's Gemini, there is also Meta's LLAMA, there is Mistral AI models. These are some examples. And the applications over this LLMS is mostly on the chatbots, there is virtual assistants, So like chat gpt, like Google Assistant. So there is a content creation, so which means the content creations you can do in the blog writing. There is a marketing, copy, script writing, etc. There is a code generation, say for example GitHub Copilot, we are doing the code generation. There is a data analysis and the summarization and the language translations. So these are the applications of the LLMs. So next we are going to discuss about the software development life cycle. So how this LLMs involves in all the phases of the software development life cycle. So first phase is nothing but the requirement analysis with LLMs. So the requirement analysis means like which is includes the planning as well as the requirement gathering. So so this requirement gathering is based on the NLP based requirement gathering, AI driven documentations, automated feasibility analysis also. So it involves. So firstly, we are going to discuss about the requirement analysis phase in SDLC, which means that only involving the gathering, analyzing, and documenting the software requirements. So this LLMs can assist in automating, also enhancing this phase by extracting the insights from the discussions. Also, it's structuring the requirements and generating the essential documentation. So we are going to discuss about how this LLM can assist in requirement analysis. So first, it is extracting the requirements from the text. So all the text it is going to extract. So which means that LLMs can analyze the customer emails first, some meeting transcripts or from the documents to extract the functional and the non-functional requirements. So also identify the missing details and also suggest the clarification. Say for example, I can say, so extract the key from the functional requirements from the customer email, or I can say summarize the non-functional requirements from this, excuse me, non-functional requirements from this conversation transcript. So the next point I can say, generating the use cases and the user stories. So LLMs can help create use cases, user stories, and acceptance criteria based on the project requirements. So they ensure the clarity in defining the expected system behavior. Say for example, I can say, here we generate the user stories for an online food delivery app, like using some agile methodology like that. So we can create a use case diagram for a hospital management system. So these are the examples given for this agile methodology or generating the use cases and the user stories here. So we can create the requirement specification documentations, so which is SRS. So generate the software SRS documents, reducing the manual effort over using this LLM. They ensure all the key sections are included, like scope, there is a functional requirements, even the constraints, etc. Say for example, it is going to generate SRS document for the mobile banking applications. Okay. So next, it is also very importantly, it is also identify the gaps and also ambiguity over here. So by example, analyzing the requirement document and highlighting the missing details or any conflicts over the over in the documentations. So also there is requirement categorization, also prioritization also there. So it is going to categorize these e-commerce platforms. So for example, based on the Moscow method, which is must have, what should, like LLMs can categorize the requirements into what is must have, should have, could have, and won't have. So this is Moscow method. So altogether, so using this LLMs in requirement analysis improves the speed, improves the accuracy and the consistency, but the human validation is still necessary to ensure the correctness of it, though it is very good in the requirement analysis field. So next we are going to discuss about the design phase with LLMs. So the design phase in the software development lifecycle, which is going to involve the defining the system architecture first. So database design, you can say UI, UX, and the overall software structures. That is, LLMs can assist by generating the diagrams. So also architectural pattern, UI suggestions, and also the documentation. So making the process faster and also more efficient. So I'm going to explain about how this LLMS is going to assist in the design phase. So first one is software architecture design. So in this software architecture design, so first this LLMs can suggest the architectural design patterns, which is AI assisted software architecture design. So firstly, we can say it can suggest the architectural patterns. Say for example, this architecture design or the patterns example is MVC, microservices, monolithic layer, all these things are based on the project type it can assist. So it can generate the high level architecture only descriptions and also the component interactions. Say for example, I'm suggesting a scalable architecture for the real time chat applications. So the example output, how come it is making based on the front end, there is a back end, there is a database, some authentication things, and there is also deployment based on the project. And we can also use the rapid prototyping. So then we can also generate this or automated UML diagram generation. So this automated UML diagram generations, maybe it can generate the class diagrams. So there is a sequence diagrams, there is a use case diagrams, also this diagrams, which is called as entity relationship diagrams. So this all these diagrams can convert the textual descriptions into the plant UML code for the visualizations. Example, so generating this UML class diagram for a library management system. So this is some example. Also there is rapid prototyping by database schema design. So it also can help to create the normalized database schemas and also the SQL table structures. So it can suggest the indexing strategies, relationship, and also optimization techniques. Okay, so we can also use this design for this UI UX wireframe suggestion. So it can improve or it can provide the responsive design suggestions for the mobile and the web applications. Suggestions can be, example, I can suggest a UI design for the ride hailing app. So this is one of the examples. So there is some login screen, there is a ride booking page, there is a payment integration. So these are the sub sub modules for this designing phases. So there is some documentation also for the designing. We can say we can generate the REST API endpoints for the hotel booking system. So altogether, I'm using this LLMS in the design phase, which is going to helps to automate the architectural planning and the database structuring and the API documentation, which is reducing the errors and saving the time. Next, we are going to discuss about the implementations with LLMs. So, which means that implementations, or we can say it is a coding phase. So, in the software development life cycle, where the actual software is developed based on the design only. So, in this, LLMs can assist in automating and optimizing various aspects of coding, debugging, documentations, and the version control. I'm going to explain about how this LLMs assist in the implementation phase. So firstly, AI powered code generation, there is a code review and optimization and automatic repetitive task or the automating repetitive programming task. So first I can say the code generation, or we can call it as a boilerplate code. So in the LLMs can generate the code snippets functions or the entire models based on the requirements. So which is help in writing the boilerplate code for the faster development. Say for example, I can use write a Python function to authenticate this users using JWT tokens. So this is it automatically like it generate the code for this JWT tokens. So next is code optimization, review and optimization, and also based on this review and optimization, there is also a performance improvement. So this LLMs can analyze and suggest this optimizations for this efficient or the inefficient codes. So it is helps in reducing the memory usage, execution time, and also improving the scalability over here. Excuse me. Say for example, optimizing this Python function for finding the prime number. So based on this thing, you can have an optimized version. Next, which is called as automating repetitive programming task. We can also take it as in debugging and the error fixing also using this implementations. So which means this LLMs can analyze the error messages, logs, and the state traces to suggest the fixes. So now it helps in troubleshooting the runtime issues and also resolving exceptions. So firstly, We can also use the writing the unit test cases for also this, and also test cases by using this automatic repetitive programming task. This is also helpful for the API development and integrations too. Next, we are going to discuss about testing with LLMs. So, through this implementations with LLMs, so this phase, it is going to speed up the development, ensures the code quality, and also reduces the manual effort. Next, we are going to discuss about this testing with LLMs. So this testing phase in the software development lifecycle, which is ensures that the software it is functioning very correctly and is free of the bugs and also meets the requirement. So the LLMs can significantly enhance this phase by automating the test case generations, which is improving the coverage. Also, you can identifying the bugs and optimizing the test scripts also. So this testing with LLMs includes the AI generated test cases, this automated debugging and bug detections, and also the smart test execution strategies. So I'm going to explain about the automated test case generation here, how this LLMs is assist in software testing. First, I can say this automated test case generations. So LLMs can generate the unit test and also integration test, system test, and acceptance test based on the requirements or existing code. So next is helps in ensuring the test coverage across the different scenarios over. Say for example, I can take generate the test cases for a login system. So this login system contains the email as well as the password. So we can have a large number of test cases we can give. For the manual test cases, I can take valid login. I can provide the valid login or invalid password, or I can check whether the mail is empty. So that is called empty email. These are some expected output. So the expected output can be login successful, sometimes error because of invalid credentials, sometimes error in email is required. This is some test cases. So this test cases is manual testing. So according to the unit test casing, I can say this LLMs can generate the unit test scripts for the various programming languages. So in Python or Java or the JavaScript, it ensures the individual components functions as expected. So I can say write unit test for the function that is going to calculate some discount. So in these things, the unit case can be using this Python, the unit testing is automatically generated by using this AI generated test cases. So there is automated debugging and the bug detection. For this automated debugging and the bug detection, so we can discuss about it can generate the automated UI test script for the web applications. So using the Selenium, there is a Playwright and the Cypress. So which these ensures the UI elements functions so correctly across the browsers. Now we are going to discuss about the smart test execution strategies. So which all smart tests can be done by the Postman, PyTest, Rest Assured. So all these things are doing this smart test execution strategies. So we can say generate API test cases for the user registration endpoint. So it generates it. So there is a performance testing too, which is JMeter and the locust it is using. Say for example, I can say it's a generate a locust test script for simulating some 1,000 users who are logging in. So it can generate the locust scripts in Python also. So security testing is also there. The security testing means SQL injections based on the XSS. So there is authentication also for that in LLMs, so that LLMs can identify the vulnerabilities and also generate the security test cases. So helping to prevent the SQL injections, also XSS, which is cross-site scripting. So CSRF, which is cross-site request forgery. Say for example, I can say generate the security test cases for an authentication system. So some test cases is involved. The test cases can be SQL injections, XSS attack, brute force, etc. So the expected outcome for the SQL injection is it can be system should prevent login. So for the XSS attack, it can be page should escape the special characters. So say for example, you can say brute force, it is account should be locked. So these are some test cases can be done. So for example, we can use bug identification and debugging assistance also over the smart test execution strategies. So altogether using this LLMs in the testing phase, it is going to increases the efficiency, improves the coverage and also enhances the test automation. Anyway, whatever may be, however, human oversight is still needed to validate the test cases and also ensure the real world reliability. So nextly, we are going to discuss about the deployment and the maintenance phase of the SDLC. So deployment and the maintenance with LLM is there. So deployment and the maintenance with LLM is based on the predictive maintenance with AI. There is intelligent detection, also automated security patches and the updates for the same. So the deployment and the maintenance phase of the SDLC, which is ensure that the application is successfully released, monitoring and also updated over time. So deployment and the maintenance phase of the SDLC is spread over time. So this LLMs can assist by automating the deployment script, writing the CI/CD pipelines or the optimizations for the long-term maintenance. So we are going to discuss about how this LLM is assist in deployment and maintenance. Say for example, deployment automation is there. Deployment automations can be done in CI/CD pipelines. So this for GitHub Actions, there's sometimes Jenkins, GitLab, AWS code pipeline. These can be generated in these applications. So it is also helps in automating the building, testing, and deployment process. Say for example, you are going to generate a GitHub Actions workflow for deploying a Flask app. So this can able to do in the GitHub, all the GitHub workflows, everything. So also in the Docker and the Kubernetes deployment, you can do it. And you can do in the cloud deployment. Maybe the cloud deployment can be done with the help of this AWS, Azure, and the GCP. Like you can say, write a Terraform script to deploy this or deploy an EC2 instance with Nginx. There is a log monitoring and also giving the alert. So LLMs can help setting up the logging and also alerting the systems too. So it is ensuring that real-time monitoring of the application's health. There is also database management or the database maintenance and the some backups is also there over here. So LLMs can generate the database backup scripts for this MySQL, PostgreSQL, and the MongoDB. So it is helps in automating the periodic breakups or the backup and optimizing the queries. Say for example, I can say writing a MySQL backup scripts that is running it daily. So this is, I can say, giving an example, MySQL backup script. So security patching and updates also, automated security patches and updates also taking place here. So LLMs can analyze the security vulnerabilities and also suggest the fixes. It helps in patch management, also in the software updates. So say for example, I can say for this automated security patches and updates, so it is going to generate a script to check and update the system packages on Linux. So this is the example of Linux update script. So you can have generating this update.sh immediately. There it was also going to perform check the performance optimization and also the scaling of it. So these optimization techniques are used in the deployment and the maintenance with LLMs there. So this is about all about how this LLMS is applied in SDLC. So now we are going to discuss about the Python implementation using this OpenAI LLM. So we use this GPT to generate the software requirements. Yes, we are in it as the software requirements fields. It involves in the system architecture. It involves in the code snippets. It involves in test cases, and it involves in the deployment strategies. So we are going to discuss with the code. So this uses this open API or the Hugging Face or the open source models. So here we are going to use Open AI API. So OpenAI API, you need to develop one, you need to create a API key for that. So that go here. So just open with OpenAI API is will to open. So in this, please create a default organization, whatever you want. And this is under this, there is a API key. So here we can have an API key. If you want, you can that my API secret key is this is my API key. And if you want, you can create a new secret key by just giving some optional test case key value, some default project, and create a secret key. This secret key is invoke the new API key. So this is the API key. Okay. So I created my secret key for that. And let me explain the code. So first I'm importing this OpenAI library. So this imports the OpenAI Python library, which allows the interactions with OpenAI language model, which is LLM. So this library provides a method to send the request to OpenAI API and also receives the AI generated responses. For this library is mainly used. Now setting up the API key. I already set the API secret key, which is this is my secret key. This is my secret key. So you can set your own secret key for that. So next I'm going to, so this API key required to authenticate and uses this open APIs or OpenAI's API. So if you're using some alternative like Llama, Mistral, or if you're using OpenAI local models, please modify accordingly. Or Hugging means you can use some transformation models. Next, I'm using defining a function for the LLM calls. So this definition of this LLM generate function that sends the request to the open API and also retrieves the AI generated responses. So this function takes one input parameter, which is prompt here. I'm doing this prompt. So this prompt is a one function takes one parameter input. This is a string that contains the query or the instructions for the AI. So the next is response. Based on this, there is a model, messages, and the temperature. So this sends a request to the open API to generate a response. So the response is based on the specification of which AI model to use. So I'm using this AI model as GPT 3.5 Turbo with the correct model name I'm using. And next is messages. So this is just a conversation history between the user and the AI. And there is a system. So this system message sets the AI role and the behavior. So here this role is the AI role and the behavior. So like you are in AI software assistant, okay? And the user message contains the actual user prompt. So next we can say the temperature. So this temperature is going to indicate or it is going to control how this creative or random the AI's responses are. Sometimes this between lower to higher, sometimes it ranges from 0 0.2 to 0 0.5. This is more deterministic, which is factual. So that is that temperature level, and the temperature level from higher, which is 0.7 to 1.0, which means I can say more diverse, or I can say it is more creative responses with this temperature starting from 0.7 to 1.0. So the next is it is going to return the responses based on the choices of zero messages and the content, which means that it is extracts. So this line is that, so which is going to extracts the AI generated response text from the API's written JSON object. So also it is going to return the first choice, that is zero. Choices of zero is nothing but based on the index value, that is going to return the first choice from the model's responses. So after that, we are going to do the SDLC phase using this LLM. So first is we are going to using this LLM generate function for each SDLC phase. That is first thing, it is requirement analysis. The requirement prompt is nothing but requirement analysis. So this requirement analysis is going to generate the software requirement for an e-commerce site. So which means it is defines a prompt that is asking the AI to generate the software requirements for an e-commerce website. So there is a calls, right? There is LLM generate requirement prompt. So that is going to this LLM generate requirement prompt. So this is going to generate or which sends the prompt to API and also gets the AI's response. And storing the AI response in the requirements. Now print requirements means it stores the AI response in the requirement variable, and now it is going to print output under the requirement analysis heading. Okay, so next we are going to discuss about the design prompt. So this design prompt, so which is request the high level system architecture. So this is details from the AI which is store the generated design informations in the design variable. My design variable. So prints the output under the design phase. Same all these things. And the implementation code also asks the AI to generate the Python code for a product listing page using some Flask. Generate the Flask code for a product listing page. Now this LLM generate code prompt is going to store the response. It has generated the code and code the response based on the Flask code in the code and print the output under the implementation code. Next it is testing phase. This test prompt which is going to generate the test cases for the login system. So now this test prompt is generate the test cases for the login system. It is requires the AI to generate the test cases for the login system. So which means that it stores the test cases in the test case. So I'm printing this test case under the topic of testing. Next is this deployment prompt. So this deploy prompt is suggesting the deployment strategies. It is requires the deployment strategies for the e-commerce websites, which means that it stores the responses in the deployment and also print the output under the deployment and the maintenance phase. So altogether, I can say the summary of this coding is it is going to import the OpenAI's library, and for secondly, you're going to set the API key for the authentication purpose, and you're going to send a query to the AI and return the response based on that. And now getting the requirement phase, which is gets the software requirements, get the high level system design. You're going to generate the Python code for product listing in the Flask and also generating the testing cases for the login system. And finally, you're going to suggest the deployment strategies. This is how we are going to use. So this code helps in the SDLC. So based on the requirement, based on the different SDLC phases, requirement analysis, design phase, implementation, testing, deployment, and maintenance. So in this requirement analysis, we can get AI generated functional and non-functional requirements. So this is the project output. So users should be able to browse the products. So based on this, in the requirement analysis, get the software requirements so you can browse the products. Users should be able to create a login or create an account. So there is some payment gateway integrations for the secure transactions. So the next phase is the design phase. AI suggests system architecture and the database design. Here there is a front end. In the front end, the design phase can be HTML, CSS, JavaScript based on the React. The backend can be a Python Flask and the database is PostgreSQL. And here there is an implementation code. So this implementation code is from the Flask import Flask. So there is app Flask name, and in this AI writes the code for the specific features. So the next phase is nothing but the testing phase where AI generates a unit integration and functional test cases where you can verify the login with current credentials. There is checking for the incorrect password handling and also ensures this SQL injection is prevented. So finally, there is a deployment and the maintenance phase. So this AI suggests this deployment strategies and maintenance practices. So these all the things will be there. So some use this OpenAI's function calling for the structure responses. Sometimes it integrate with a web framework to display the results dynamically. Also some CI/CD pipeline creation also using this AI generated scripts also possible. So I'm going to explain about this code. It is generated in the Google Colab. So this I've designed in the Google Colab. So we can do a normal Google Colab design. This project is under the Python. So we can use, firstly, we are going to install this Open AI for this. So this is installation Open AI. So pip install OpenAI is the installation of OpenAI in the Python. So that's how it is installed. And after this, I'm opening the CI with the basic time set. I perform this code, all these things I've done and got the result. This is how the project is happening on the real time in Python. So now let's discuss about this is how this happening. So now just discuss about the benefits of using this LLMs in the SDLC. Yes, of course, LLM means like large language model like GPT-4, LLAMMA, Mistral, Gemini can significantly improve the various phases of this software development lifecycle by, of course, automating the task, faster development cycles, reduced human errors. There is cost efficiency, improving the efficiency, improved software quality, reducing the cost. So there are some key benefits also based on the different phases requirement analysis. So in the requirement analysis, the benefits can be automated requirement gathering. There is a natural language to structured data we can do. Also from the consistency and the completeness of the program we can have. In the design phase, this LLMs can be happen like you this LLMs can suggest the system architecture. There can be database schemas and also supports this UI UX designs also. This is generating the high level system design. Also it is going to provide the architecture diagram sometimes for microservices, monolithic or serverless models. So say for example, I can talk about some scalable architecture for an e-commerce platform. This is how this database design and the query optimization is happening in the designing phase. So it is also equally benefited in the implementation or the code generation and assistance phase. So automated code generation is taking place, code refactoring or the code optimization is taken place by improving the performance, security and the readability of the code. So the benefit can be example I can talk about some refactor the JavaScript function to improve the efficiency. So there is also multi-language code translation also there. So we can have the good benefits of using this LLMs in the testing and debugging phase, where generating the unit integration and regression testing, right? You can write the PyTest or generate the test case for an e-commerce checkout system. Like that you can have to fix this Python recursion error. So or you can say check for the security vulnerabilities using this or using the Django app. So these are the benefits of using this LLMs in the testing phase. We can also have the benefits of using the LLMs in the deployment and maintenance phase, where you can generate the deployment scripts like Docker, Kubernetes and the Terraform. So there is also CI/CD automation is there, log analysis and monitoring you can talk about. So there is also some project management and the documentation field is there, where code review you can do it, where project timeline estimations you can do, and agile planning you can do, generate the technical documentations you can do based on this, and there is cost and efficiency improvements also there based on this benefits. So like all the things, like you can have lots of benefits using this LLMs, like you can extract and validate the requirements from the user input, generate the architecture diagram schemas, API documentation you can write and refactors the code, suggestion optimizations, you can generate the test cases, you can even identify the bugs and suggest the fixes you can do. You can generate the deployment scripts and also monitoring the logs. Also helps with documentation. You can sprint planning and also collaboration. So using this LLM in SDLC, which is significantly boost the efficiency, it is significantly boost the quality and also the cost effectiveness by automating the task, assisting the developers and also ensuring the best practices. So that's all about this LLMs in SDLC. And there is some challenges and limitations also over here. So the challenges and limitations means there is some, even the challenges can be whatever can be we can done, like some ethical concerns is there. There is, it is totally depend on the AI generated content, and there is also risk involved in this, and some data privacy issues also there over here. So I can say, so though we are using this some key benefits we are using, we are having lots of benefits we are applying. So those we are, however, whatever may be, so it involves some human or manual suggestions or manual planning or manual conclusion should be there. It is very much essential. So now we are going to discuss about hmm, okay, so let's discuss about the conclusions of this. So after that, we are going to discuss about some question and answers. So, so we are using all these things. So, however, we are using LLMs or transforming the SDLC by automating the task, enhancing this productivity, and improving the accuracy. So, there is some future of the software development is AI driven fully. We are focusing on fully. Though it has happened, so human oversight is still needed to validate all these phases and also ensure the real world reliability should be there. So next we are going to discuss about the question and answers based on this. So this is some suggestions using this LLMs. So I can say the question, if you're having any queries, please you can throw the queries or you can throw the question. Yes, okay. I can have some questions based on this. We will discuss some question and answer based on this. So I can say, how can LLMs helps in requirement analysis? Yes, here they are converting the business needs into the structured functional requirements, also identifying the missing or conflict requirements we were talking about, and we it is also suggesting some use cases, user stories, and accepting this acceptance criteria. I can say, can LLMs analyze this existing requirements for errors? Yes, this LLMs can checks for ambiguities, inconsistencies, and also the contradictions in the requirement. And also this LLMs can suggest the clarifications and the improvements. Say for example, analyze these software requirements and the suggest improvements. Like that, we can do it. This can be possible. The next question we are going to discuss about, can LLMs suggest the best database schema for an application? Yes, I said. So yes, this is supports this recommended relational or the NoSQL databases. Also some generate some table structures. So for the primary keys and the relationships we can do. Say for example, you can prompt like design a database schema for a hospital management system. Okay, so I can another question maybe, can LLMs helps in multi-language development? Yes, you can convert the code from one language into another, which means it is going to generate the code snippets in multiple languages. So you can prompt like convert this Python code into the Java. Like you can do development in multi languages. So can LLMs debug and suggest the fixes or suggest fixes for the code errors? Yes, LLMs can do debug and suggest fixes for the code errors. Say for example, it analyzes the error messages and suggests the solutions. It is also improve the code efficiency and the security. You can prompt like fix the syntax error in this JavaScript functions. Okay, so the question can be, okay, LLMs can, okay, or I can say, how can LLMs support the software maintenance? Yes, LLMs can automate the bug tracking, and also LLMs can automate the log analysis. Say for example, you can prompt like analyze the server log and identify the issues. This can happen. So next question can be, can LLMs generate the software documentation? Yes, LLMs can do generate this software documentation, which means that you can write the technical documentation based on the API references and the README files you can do. I can prompt like, you can prompt like generate a README for a Flask based web API. So this can do. So there are lots of supports using this SDLC and LLMs benefits. You can enjoy it. So the final conclusion is this: using this LLMs in SDLC, which is going to boost the efficiency, it is going to reduce the cost and improve the software quality. So enjoy using this LLMs in the SDLC phases. So thank you so much.
Uh, Thank you so much, Ms. Amuda, for such an engaging and insightful session. I'm sure everyone here has picked up strategies and techniques they can apply immediately. Now we will open the forum to answer questions if you have received during the session. So let's get our questions answered. Over to you, Ms. Amuda.
Yes.
So looks like we don't have any questions yet. So anyways, thank you everyone. We appreciate you being here. We shall be sending out the webinar recording to all you participants soon. I request you to kindly provide feedback before signing off, which will really help us improve the quality of our future events. Thanks again for joining us today. Signing off on behalf of Team Spring People. Hope to see you again for our next webinar. Take care. Bye.